I never thought a day would come when he'd see her again. The soft hum of the city outside the tall glass windows of the Seoul apartment building was a stark contrast to the tension inside the hidden room where Maya crouched beside Hannah, her hands gently brushing over the child's hair as she tried to calm the restless movements of the past 9 years into a moment of stillness. The moonlight filtering through the thin curtains painted long, silvery shadows across the floor, highlighting the carefully arranged sketches that lay scattered like silent witnesses to the years of devotion and quiet vigilance. Each page was filled with Hannah's small, deliberate strokes, drawings that had captured everything from her earliest memories to fleeting moments of joy, and Maya's eyes lingered on them, tracing the lines as if she could read the story of the child's life within each curve and color. A soft creak from the hallway above made her heart leap, a reminder that every moment of secrecy hung by a thread, and that the arrival of Junho Kim, the Korean Mafia boss, could turn the delicate balance into sudden exposure. Maya shifted slightly, adjusting Hannah's position, feeling the warmth of the child's small body and the steady rhythm of her breathing, a grounding presence in the whirlwind of anticipation. She whispered a gentle reassurance, the words barely audible. "We are safe for now, Hannah, just for now," knowing that the years of preparation, the countless nights spent watching, listening, and guarding had all led to this tenuous instant. The room smelled faintly of lavender and the worn leather of the backpack, scents that Maya associated with protection, comfort, and the quiet persistence of care. She glanced at the digital clock on the small wooden desk. The minute hand moved steadily, marking the slow passage of time that had always seemed both friend and enemy. Outside, the city lights flickered against the skyline, reflections bouncing off the polished floors, a reminder of the larger world beyond the walls that enclosed them, a world that had no knowledge of the sacrifices that had been made, the silent battles fought to preserve a life that did not belong to her, but had become her reason for every cautious breath. Maya's gaze returned to Hannah, noting the subtle shift as the child's eyes focused on the sketches, a quiet curiosity illuminating her. Features, a momentary distraction that brought a brief smile to Maya's face. She remembered the first day she had met Hannah, the fear, the responsibility, the overwhelming weight of a secret that would shape the next decade of her life, and she felt a swell of determination. She had hidden this child from everyone, navigating the complexities of a world filled with danger and expectation. Yet here, in this still moment, the effort seemed both monumental and profoundly ordinary, the simplest acts of care carrying the gravity of years. The air was still except for the faint ticking of the clock and the gentle rustle of papers as Maya reached for a colored pencil, intending to add a small note of encouragement beside one of Hannah's sketches, a symbolic gesture of continuity and hope. She inhaled slowly, filling her lungs with the scent of the room, grounding herself in the tangible, the immediate, as the distant sound of footsteps echoed softly above, a reminder of the proximity of Junho Kim, the man whose presence had dominated the child's life from afar and whose recognition of their secret could alter everything in a heartbeat. Maya's eyes met Hannah's, and for a brief, unspoken moment, a silent communication passed between them, an acknowledgement of the trust, the resilience, and the quiet courage that had sustained them both. The child's small hand reached for Maya's, a gentle grip that conveyed more than words could express, and Maya held it, feeling the weight of responsibility, the depth of connection, and the unspoken promise that the years of secrecy, the careful protection, and the unwavering vigilance had brought them to this delicate, fleeting moment where safety, anticipation, and the possibility of revelation coexisted in the quiet, moonlit room. The soft click of the front door locking in the distance sent a shiver through Maya as she adjusted Hannah in her arms, the child curling closer, sensing the tension that radiated from her protector. Outside, the night in Seoul was calm, the faint hum of traffic and the occasional honk blending into a lullaby of the city that had grown indifferent to their hidden lives. Maya moved carefully across the polished hardwood floors, each step measured and deliberate, the subtle squeak of her sneakers against the floor masked by the ambient sounds. The room they occupied was small but meticulously arranged, a sanctuary filled with warmth. And the faint scent of lavender and pencils, and the sketches covering the walls glowed under the soft lamplight, evidence of years spent capturing moments of innocence and joy in strokes of color and imagination. She lowered Hannah gently onto a cushioned chair, smoothing the child's dark curls from her forehead, and whispered, "Look, Hannah, tonight we will make a new story together, just for you." Hannah's small eyes widened as she glanced at the array of drawings, her little fingers tracing the lines of the figures on the paper as though feeling the weight of the memories captured there. Maya took a deep breath, the rhythm of her lungs slow and deliberate, trying to steady the fluttering pulse in her chest as she scanned the room, imagining the precise moment when Junho Kim would arrive, the moment when every careful decision she had made over 9 years would converge into a single instant of revelation. She remembered the first time she had held Hannah, the terror, the weight of responsibility, and the overwhelming determination to protect this life from the world outside, a world that had never been kind in a man whose presence was both distant and omnipresent. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for a pencil, the wood smooth and familiar, the lead sharpened to a precise point, and she began to draw alongside Hannah, her movements fluid and practiced, a quiet ritual that had always grounded her in moments of uncertainty. The night deepened, shadows stretching across the walls, giving the room a sense of enclosure and intimacy that contrasted with the vast, unyielding city beyond. Maya's eyes lingered on Hannah's face, noting the concentration, the faint smile tugging at her lips, and she felt a surge of pride and protective resolve. Each line and color on the paper was more than art. It was a testament to survival, to care, and to the unspoken bond that had formed between them. The distant sound of a footstep on the upper stairwell caused her to stiffen, ears straining for any indication of presence, her mind racing through every contingency, every escape route, and every reason why the carefully maintained secrecy had to remain unbroken. Hannah shifted slightly, looking up at Maya with trust and curiosity, and in that small, silent exchange, Maya drew strength, the fear still present but tempered by purpose, by the knowledge that she had navigated the complexities of this life before and could do so again. She adjusted the lamp to cast a softer glow over the desk, allowing the shadows to fall in a way that created a cocoon of security around them. And as she guided Hannah's tiny hand over the pencil, encouraging her to continue her drawing, Maya felt the familiar mixture of tension and hope, the awareness that soon, the life she had protected and the man who would ultimately discover it would intersect, and that when it did. Every careful year of devotion, every quiet sacrifice, and every hidden moment of care would come into sharp relief, setting the stage for a revelation that was long overdue and profoundly transformative. The faint hum of the city beyond the tall windows filled the room with a quiet rhythm, a contrast to the flurry of thoughts racing through Maya as she carefully arranged the sketches on the desk, her hands steady despite the tension tightening her chest. Hannah sat cross-legged beside her, eyes wide and focused, tracing the lines of her own drawings, the small movements punctuated by the soft rustle of paper and the occasional scrape of colored pencil against the textured surface. Maya adjusted the lamp so that the warm light bathed the sketches, casting gentle shadows that made the room feel both intimate and protected, a sanctuary she had crafted over years of careful planning and tireless vigilance. The soft scent of lavender lingered in the air, mingling with the faint aroma of pencils and paper, grounding Maya in the tangible elements of the space even as her mind raced with anticipation. She glanced at the digital clock on the desk, each passing second a reminder of the approaching moment when Junho Kim, the Korean Mafia boss, would inevitably appear, bringing with him the weight of recognition, authority, and the unknown consequences of discovery. Maya's gaze returned to Hannah, who looked up at her with a small, expectant smile, a silent communication passing between them that conveyed trust, patience, and the shared history of years spent in secrecy. Maya reached out to smooth the child's dark curls, her fingertips lingering against the warmth of Hannah's skin, and whispered, "Almost time, Hannah. Remember, stay calm. Everything will be all right." The quiet words carried both reassurance and a subtle warning, the gravity of their secret hanging in the gentle cadence of her voice. Outside, the sounds of traffic and distant footsteps drifted through the partially open window, a reminder of the bustling world beyond their secluded room, a world that had remained unaware of the child's presence and the extraordinary care that had protected her for nearly a decade. Maya's mind flicked through the countless nights of preparation, every hidden corner, every careful arrangement of furniture, every minute of observation that had allowed her to keep Hannah safe from prying eyes. She could almost feel the weight of the years in her shoulders, a mix of exhaustion, resolve, and quiet triumph, knowing that each choice she had made was a step toward this exact moment. Hannah's small hand found hers, squeezing gently, a subtle gesture of reassurance and connection that reminded Maya of the stakes and the love that had guided her actions. She guided Hannah's hand back to the pencil, allowing the child to continue drawing, the motion both a grounding ritual and a declaration of a life they had preserved together. As Maya watched Hannah concentrate, the familiar surge of protective instinct coursed through her, intertwining with a cautious hope that the years of careful secrecy had not been in vain. Each line and color on the paper became a symbol of resilience, a bridge between the hidden past and the approaching moment of revelation. The distant creak of the stairwell above made Maya stiffen, her breath catching briefly as she assessed the situation, her eyes scanning the room for anything out of place, anything that could betray their carefully maintained sanctuary. Hannah, sensing the tension, pressed closer, and Maya whispered once more, "Stay calm, Hannah. We are ready." The words were both reassurance and command, a reflection of the years of discipline and care that had led them to this fragile, pivotal instant. In the quiet of the room, illuminated by the gentle glow of the lamp, the air thick with anticipation, Maya held her breath, preparing for the moment when the child she had protected would be recognized, and the truth of their hidden life would intersect with the man whose eyes, she had always been told, shared a bond with the little girl in her care. Hannah's small hands trembled as she reached for the colored pencil, her dark eyes reflecting the warm glow of the lamp that illuminated the sketches spread across the desk. Maya's voice was soft, almost a whisper, as she encouraged the child. "Take your time, Hannah. Every line matters." The weight of 9 years of careful planning and hidden devotion pressed on Maya's shoulders, yet in this quiet room, surrounded by the soft hum of the city outside, there was a fragile sense of peace. The polished hardwood floors gleamed under the lamplight, the reflection of the sketches creating a tapestry of color that told a story of perseverance, love, and silent guardianship. Maya adjusted Hannah's position, ensuring the child felt secure, and watched as her small fingers traced the lines of a drawing, her movements deliberate and focused, a mirror of the care that had guided her throughout the years. Outside, the distant traffic and the occasional siren were reminders of a world oblivious to the delicate moment unfolding within these walls, a world that had not yet recognized the extraordinary devotion that had safeguarded this life. Maya took a deep breath, inhaling the faint scent of lavender and pencils, grounding herself in the tangible while her mind traced every possibility, every contingency for the approaching encounter with Junho Kim. The child's gaze lifted, meeting Maya's, and in that glance passed a silent understanding, a shared acknowledgement of the years of secrecy, trust, and unwavering care. Maya's fingers lingered on Hannah's hair, smoothing the dark curls from her forehead, the touch gentle yet resolute, conveying protection and reassurance. She whispered again, "Soon, Hannah. Soon. Everything will be revealed, and we will be ready." The small room seemed to contract with anticipation, each shadow cast by the lamp stretching across the walls like a reminder of the approaching moment when the carefully guarded truth would intersect with the man whose eyes shared a bond with this child. Maya glanced at the digital clock, the steady movement of the minute hand a metronome marking the approach of a critical instant, and her thoughts drifted briefly to the first day she had met Hannah, the overwhelming responsibility, the terror, and the determination to protect a life that was not her own but had become the center of her world. She reached for a pencil, tracing a gentle line alongside Hannah's drawing, the simple motion grounding her amidst the swirling anticipation. The child's small fingers pressed against hers, seeking connection, reassurance, and perhaps a hint of shared courage, and Maya held the hand, feeling the weight of her responsibility and the depth of the bond that had formed over years of careful vigilance. The soft rustle of paper, the faint scrape of pencil against sketch, and the muted city sounds created a rhythm that mirrored the quiet tension in the room. Every sketch, every color, every mark was a testament to the years of protection, a silent story of resilience. And in the steady gaze exchange between Maya and Hannah, there was both comfort and anticipation. The room, bathed in lamplight and quiet, seemed to hold its breath as if aware of the impending convergence of past devotion and future revelation, the delicate balance of secrecy poised on the edge of discovery. Maya adjusted the lamp slightly, ensuring the shadows fell in a way that created a sense of enclosure and safety, and encouraged Hannah to continue drawing, a small, deliberate act that symbolized continuity, hope, and the silent triumph of care over uncertainty. Each line on the page, each careful stroke, seemed to echo through the room, a quiet affirmation of survival, trust, and the unspoken promise that the years of devotion and hidden vigilance had not been in vain. The distant sound of a door closing somewhere in the building made Maya stiffen, her senses sharpening, yet she maintained the calm demeanor that had guided Hannah through countless moments of uncertainty, the bond between them stronger than fear. And in that stillness, the room seemed suspended in anticipation, ready for the moment when the life she had protected would meet the eyes of the man who unknowingly shared the connection with the child he had not known he had. The soft creak of the hallway floor above made Maya freeze for a moment, her senses sharpening as every sound seemed magnified in the quiet sanctuary of the hidden room. Hannah nestled closer to her side, her small hand gripping Maya's sleeve, sensing the tension that radiated from the older woman as if mirroring her own anticipation. Maya's eyes darted to the sketches sprawled across the desk, each one a careful chronicle of Hannah's growth, a silent testament to the years of patience, care, and unwavering vigilance that had defined their lives together. The polished hardwood floors reflected the lamplight, creating a warm, golden glow that contrasted with the cool shadows stretching across the walls, highlighting the deliberate stillness of the room. Maya adjusted the lamp slightly, tilting it to cast softer light over the desk, ensuring that every line, every mark, every carefully crafted detail was visible, a subtle display of the life that had been nurtured in secrecy. She guided Hannah's small hand back to the pencil, encouraging the child to continue her drawing, the motion both a grounding ritual and a quiet declaration of continuity and resilience. Outside, the city hummed with the distant sounds of traffic, punctuated occasionally by a faint siren, a reminder that the bustling world beyond remained unaware of the hidden moments unfolding within these walls, and that the years of protection, sacrifice, and careful planning had kept them insulated from that indifferent reality. Maya's breath came slowly, measured, as she watched Hannah concentrate, the small movements of her fingers over the paper reflecting the focus and patience that had become second nature to both of them over 9 years. Every line drawn, every color chosen was imbued with meaning, a quiet testament to survival, trust, and the deep bond that had formed between them in the shadow of secrecy. The faint sound of a door opening somewhere in the building caused Maya's chest to tighten, but she remained composed, instinctively shielding Hannah with her body and maintaining the calm demeanor that had guided them through countless moments of tension before. She whispered softly, "Stay with me, Hannah. Everything is all right." And the words seemed to settle between them, a fragile assurance amidst the anticipation of what was to come. The sketches caught the light in a way that made the colors almost shimmer, each image a reminder of the years of hidden devotion, the moments of quiet joy and steadfast care that had defined their lives together. Maya's eyes lingered on Hannah's face, noting the concentration, the subtle smiles, the occasional tilt of the head as she considered the next stroke of the pencil, and she felt a surge of protective resolve, a reaffirmation of the commitment that had guided every choice, every risk, every silent decision made in service of the child's safety and happiness. The air in the room felt charged with anticipation, a delicate balance of calm and expectancy as Maya adjusted Hannah's position slightly, ensuring comfort while maintaining the readiness to respond to any unforeseen arrival. Each breath, each soft rustle of paper, each gentle movement of pencil against sketch seemed to mark the passage of time as they approached the pivotal moment when the life they had nurtured in secrecy would finally intersect with the presence of Junho Kim, the man whose eyes, she had been told, mirrored those of the child in her care. Maya inhaled deeply, centering herself in the tangible textures, scents, and colors of the room, drawing strength from the familiarity of the surroundings, the warmth of Hannah's small body against her side, and the steady, quiet rhythm of years of dedication culminating in this precise, fragile instant. The subtle click of the door handle above caused Maya's breath to catch, her fingers tightening around Hannah's small hand as she gently guided the child behind a cluster of furniture, the soft rustle of fabric barely audible in the quiet room. The lamp cast long shadows across the polished hardwood floors, creating a mosaic of light and dark that seemed to mirror the careful balance Maya had maintained for 9 years, each day a negotiation between concealment and care. Hannah's eyes, wide and curious, followed Maya's every motion, her small frame tense yet trusting, a reflection of the bond that had grown stronger with each year of silent vigilance. Maya adjusted the chair beneath the child, ensuring stability and comfort, while keeping her own movements deliberate, every step measured to avoid drawing attention. The sketches on the desk, colorful and vibrant, lay as silent testimony to the years of patience, creativity, and devotion, each line a record of shared moments, small victories, and tender interactions that had defined their hidden world. Maya's gaze flicked to the window, the moonlight spilling across the room in soft slivers, highlighting the careful arrangement of blankets, books, and pencils that formed the sanctuary she had built for Hannah, a space untouched by the chaos of the outside world. A quiet tension hung in the air, a delicate weight that pressed gently against the chest, the anticipation of imminent discovery threading through every breath. Maya whispered softly, "Just a little longer, Hannah. Keep going with your drawing." And the words carried reassurance, a grounding presence amidst the heightened awareness of potential intrusion. Outside, the distant sounds of the city, cars, occasional voices, the faint hum of neon signs, drifted through the half-open window, a reminder of the world beyond, indifferent to the small drama unfolding in the carefully hidden room. Maya's eyes returned to Hannah, watching the careful movements of tiny fingers tracing shapes and patterns, the concentration evident in the tilt of the child's head and the subtle pursing of lips, a quiet reflection of the dedication and focus that had been cultivated over nearly a decade. The child's small hand found Maya's again, pressing briefly in silent communication, a signal of trust and shared courage, and Maya held it firmly, allowing the warmth to steady her own nerves as she prepared for the approach of Junho Kim. The faint creak of footsteps above caused a momentary tightening of shoulders, yet Maya maintained her composure, drawing on years of experience in navigating moments of uncertainty. Each sketch, each stroke of color, and each careful placement of pencils and paper became symbolic, a reflection of the life she had nurtured and protected, a visual testament to the care and vigilance that had defined their lives. The soft glow of the lamp highlighted the texture of the drawings, the gentle curvature of lines, and the subtle interplay of color and shadow, reinforcing the quiet significance of the space and the moments shared within it. Maya's breath came slow and deliberate, grounding herself in the physicality of the room. The feel of the hardwood beneath her shoes, the smooth surface of the desk, the weight of Hannah resting against her side, and in that stillness, the years of secret dedication crystallized into a moment poised on the edge of revelation. Hannah's gaze remained fixed on her work, and Maya offered a quiet, encouraging smile, the unspoken understanding between them a bulwark against the anxiety that edged at the corners of the room. The air, filled with anticipation and the faint scent of pencils and lavender, seemed suspended, as if holding its breath alongside them, waiting for the instant when the life Maya had carefully shielded would come into the light and meet the eyes of the man whose presence had unknowingly defined it from afar. The soft creak of the upper hallway grew louder, each step measured and deliberate, echoing in the stillness of the room like a herald of inevitability. Maya's heart pounded in her chest as she instinctively pressed Hannah closer, shielding the child with the curve of her body, while her eyes darted to the sketches that lay scattered across the desk, each one a vivid record of the years of quiet devotion and careful protection. The lamp cast a warm glow over the pages, the colors and lines shimmering faintly in the golden light, creating a sense of life and continuity that contrasted with the tension tightening in the room. Hannah's small fingers clutched a pencil, pausing mid-stroke, her wide eyes flicking toward Maya for reassurance. And in that silent exchange, Maya felt the weight of responsibility and the bond that had carried them through 9 years of secrecy. She whispered softly, "We are almost there, Hannah. Just a little longer." And the words seemed to settle over the room like a protective veil, grounding them both in the present even as the approaching moment loomed. The polished hardwood floors reflected the light, highlighting the careful arrangement of furniture, blankets, and books that formed a sanctuary of warmth and safety, a space that Maya had crafted with meticulous care to shield Hannah from the outside world and the inevitable intrusion of the man whose presence had shaped the child's life from afar. Maya adjusted Hannah's position on the cushioned chair, ensuring comfort and stability, while her own posture remained deliberate and poised, a silent demonstration of control and preparedness in the midst of mounting anticipation. The distant sounds of the city, cars, muffled voices, the occasional hum of neon, filtered through the partially open window, grounding Maya in the familiar rhythm of urban life while contrasting with the concentrated stillness of the room. Her eyes returned to Hannah, noting the subtle tilt of the head, the furrow of concentration, the soft pursing of lips, each detail a testament to the child's focus and the resilience that had been nurtured through years of care and quiet guidance. Maya's fingers lingered over Hannah's curls, brushing them gently aside, the touch conveying protection, reassurance, and the deep, unspoken connection that had grown between them over nearly a decade. The lamp's glow illuminated the room with a soft, enveloping warmth, casting gentle shadows that created a sense of intimacy and security, a cocoon that had allowed them to exist in quiet normalcy despite the extraordinary circumstances of their lives. Maya's breath was steady, deliberate, drawing in the scents of pencils, paper, and faint lavender, anchoring her in the tangible details of the room, even as her mind raced through the approaching encounter with Junho Kim, the Korean Mafia boss. She observed the sketches once more, noting the careful lines and thoughtful colors, the manifestation of Hannah's experiences, emotions, and memories captured in a medium both creative and expressive, a silent chronicle of survival and dedication. Hannah's small hand pressed against Maya's in a reassuring gesture, and Maya returned the touch, drawing strength from the quiet affirmation of trust, courage, and shared history. The air in the room felt charged with a delicate anticipation, each second stretching longer than the last, as if time itself had slowed to mark the pivotal moment when the carefully preserved life would intersect with the man whose eyes, it had always been said, held the reflection of the child before her. Maya inhaled deeply, steadying herself in the weight of years. The warmth of Hannah pressed against her side, the soft glow of the lamp, and the vivid presence of the sketches, all elements converging into a single, suspended instant poised on the edge of revelation and understanding. The quiet tension in the hidden room shifted subtly as the soft click of the outer door announced an approach, sending a ripple of alertness through Maya and tightening Hannah's grip on her sleeve. The warm lamplight played across the scattered sketches, their colors vibrant in the intimate glow, each one a chronicle of moments carefully preserved over 9 years, every line a testament to patience, devotion, and quiet triumph. Maya adjusted Hannah in the cushioned chair, her voice low and steady as she whispered, "Stay calm, Hannah. Everything is all right. Just a little longer." The words carrying reassurance that mirrored the protective rhythm of her heartbeat. The polished hardwood floors reflected the gentle illumination, the shadows stretching and bending across the walls in soft, irregular patterns that seemed to embrace them in a cocoon of safety. The faint hum of the city outside filtered through the half-open window, a distant symphony of traffic and life, indifferent yet grounding, a reminder that beyond this room, the world continued unaware of the careful preservation of a life before her. Maya's gaze returned to Hannah, noting the delicate concentration as the child's small fingers traced shapes and patterns, her expression focused and serene despite the underlying tension, a reflection of the resilience and trust cultivated over nearly a decade. Maya's hands lingered over the child's curls, brushing them aside with gentle precision, conveying protection, reassurance, and the depth of the bond that had formed between them, unspoken, yet powerful. She adjusted the lamp to illuminate the desk more evenly, revealing the intricate details of the sketches, the careful interplay of color and line, and the quiet narrative of survival and creativity they represented. Each drawing seemed to breathe softly in the warm light, a visual echo of the years of care, patience, and guidance that had defined their hidden existence. The distant creak of footsteps above made Maya stiffen, muscles coiled and ready, yet she maintained a calm demeanor, drawing strength from the steady presence of Hannah, the familiar textures and sense of the room, and the tangible evidence of their shared history in the form of the sketches. Maya inhaled deeply, grounding herself in the moment, the scent of pencils, paper, and faint lavender filling her senses, anchoring her amidst the anticipation. Hannah's gaze lifted from the paper, eyes meeting Maya's with a mixture of curiosity and trust, a silent affirmation of the quiet courage that had guided them both for years. The room felt suspended in time, each second stretching with delicate tension, the air charged with the anticipation of the approaching encounter that would intersect years of secrecy with the presence of Junho Kim, the Korean Mafia boss. Maya's breath remained slow and measured, drawing calm from the tactile details around her. The weight of Hannah in her lap, the smooth surface of the desk, the warm glow of the lamp, the texture of the sketches, each element a stabilizing force as the pivotal moment approached. She guided Hannah's hand back to the pencil, encouraging the child to continue, the action both grounding and symbolic, a final ritual of reassurance before the inevitable revelation. Outside the faint city, sounds continued, unnoticed yet present, underscoring the quiet intimacy of the room, and in that suspended stillness, Maya felt the culmination of years of devotion, careful vigilance, and unwavering protection coalesce into a single fragile instant, poised on the edge of recognition, trust, and the first gentle shift toward understanding. The soft thud of footsteps approaching the hidden room made Maya stiffen, her breath caught in her chest as she instinctively positioned herself between Hannah and the door, her body a shield cultivated over years of quiet vigilance. The warm lamplight played over the scattered sketches on the desk, each line and color a vivid chronicle of the life she had nurtured and protected in secret, the gentle interplay of shadows across the hardwood floor, creating a cocoon of intimacy and safety. Hannah's small hand pressed against Maya's arm, grounding her as she guided the child to sit upright, her wide eyes reflecting the golden glow of the lamp and the trust that had been carefully cultivated over nearly a decade. Maya's voice was soft yet deliberate. "Steady, Hannah. We are ready for this." And the words seemed to ripple through the room, carrying reassurance and the quiet weight of preparation that had brought them to this pivotal moment. The air was thick with anticipation, the faint hum of the city beyond the window providing a backdrop of normalcy against the extraordinary significance of the evening. Maya adjusted the lamp slightly, ensuring that every sketch and detail was visible, the colors vibrant, the lines precise, a silent testament to years of dedication and care. She leaned closer to Hannah, guiding her small hand over a final stroke, a gentle reinforcement of trust and continuity, a subtle ritual that had become a grounding force throughout their hidden years. The polished hardwood floors reflected the soft light, creating a warm glow that emphasized the carefully arranged sanctuary of blankets, books, and pencils that had shielded Hannah from a world unaware of her presence. Maya's eyes flicked toward the faint sound of the door handle, her senses alert, yet she maintained a composed posture, drawing strength from the tactile familiarity of the room. The smooth surface of the desk, the soft texture of the cushions, the scent of pencils and lavender lingering in the air. Hannah looked up, her gaze meeting Maya's with a quiet determination, an unspoken communication passing between them, affirming courage, patience, and the trust that had defined their shared existence. Maya's fingers lingered over the child's curls, smoothing them gently, the motion conveying protection, comfort, and the unspoken bond that had been nurtured through years of vigilance. The sketches seemed to shimmer under the lamplight, each one a visual echo of the years of quiet devotion, the moments of joy, the careful teaching, and the steadfast attention to every detail of Hannah's life. Maya took a slow, deliberate breath, anchoring herself in the weight of the moment. The warmth of Hannah pressed against her side, the soft glow of the lamp illuminating their shared space, and the vivid presence of the sketches reinforcing the significance of their years of care. The distant hum of traffic and city life filtered faintly through the half-open window, a reminder of the world beyond, indifferent yet grounding, as Maya prepared for the arrival of Junho Kim, the Korean Mafia boss. Every muscle was coiled, every sense alert, yet there was a quiet strength in the stillness, a culmination of 9 years of protection and devotion ready to meet the first recognition and connection from the man whose eyes had always been said to mirror those of the child before her. Maya guided Hannah's hand back to the pencil, the gentle encouragement steadying both of them, the motion symbolic of their resilience, preparation, and the impending revelation that had been years in the making. In the suspended quiet of the room, the warmth, the colors, the shared trust, and the palpable anticipation all converged, a delicate balance poised on the threshold of acknowledgement, understanding, and the first gentle emergence of connection. The faint sound of footsteps above had grown into a deliberate rhythm, signaling the presence of someone moving through the upper hallway, and Maya's pulse quickened as she pressed closer to Hannah, shielding the child instinctively while maintaining a calm exterior. The warm lamplight danced across the sketches that lay scattered across the desk, their colors vivid in the glow, each one a chronicle of years of patient devotion. Every line and mark a silent testament to care, guidance, and protection. Hannah's small hand gripped Maya's sleeve, her wide eyes reflecting both curiosity and a growing awareness of the significance of the moment. And Maya whispered softly, "We are ready, Hannah. Just trust me." The words carrying a mixture of reassurance and the steady authority that had guided them through countless tense situations over the years. The polished hardwood floors reflected the light, creating a sense of warmth and intimacy that contrasted with the tension in the air, the shadows stretching along the walls as if holding their breath with them. Maya adjusted Hannah in her chair, ensuring she was comfortable while maintaining readiness. Every movement deliberate and precise, a rhythm born of 9 years of careful vigilance. The faint hum of the city beyond the window drifted in, muted and distant, grounding the moment in a familiar backdrop while highlighting the extraordinary nature of the quiet drama unfolding within the room. Maya's gaze lingered on Hannah's concentrated expression, noting the subtle pursing of lips, the tilt of the head, and the careful, deliberate strokes of the pencil. Each motion a reflection of patience, trust, and resilience cultivated over nearly a decade. She reached for the child's curls, brushing them gently back from her forehead, a gesture conveying both protection and comfort, an unspoken affirmation of the bond that had carried them through years of secrecy. The sketches on the desk shimmered faintly under the lamp, a tapestry of memories, small victories, and creative expression that told the story of their hidden life in quiet, vivid detail. The soft rustle of paper and the gentle tap of pencil against sketch provided a rhythmic counterpoint to the anticipation that thickened the air, each sound magnified by the tension of waiting for the imminent arrival of Junho Kim. Maya drew a slow, deliberate breath, anchoring herself in the familiar textures of the room. The smooth surface of a desk, the warmth of the lamp, the scent of lavender and pencils, and the steady weight of Hannah at her side, each element a stabilizing force as the pivotal moment approached. Hannah's gaze lifted to meet Maya's, and in that quiet exchange, a silent communication passed between them, affirming courage, patience, and trust that had been nurtured over the years. Maya guided the child's hand back to the pencil, a subtle encouragement to continue, reinforcing both presence and continuity, the act itself a ritual that had grounded them through countless previous trials. The air seemed to hold its breath along with them, charged with anticipation, each second stretching into a delicate pause as the years of careful preparation and quiet devotion converged on this instant, poised on the edge of revelation. Maya's eyes flicked toward the faint outline of the door in the soft lamplight, muscles coiled and senses alert. Yet her composure remained intact, a reflection of the patience, resilience, and deep understanding that had carried them through nearly a decade of hidden life. Every element in the room, the sketches, the light, the warmth, the textures, and the bond between them, coalesced into a singular, suspended moment, ready for the first gentle recognition and connection from the man whose presence had unknowingly defined the child's life from afar. A moment charged with the weight of 9 years of protection, care, and unwavering dedication. The room seemed to hold its breath as the faint sound of the outer door, sliding into place, reached Maya's ears, a subtle signal that the moment she had anticipated for 9 years was arriving. Hannah clutched the pencil in her small hand, her eyes flicking nervously to Maya, seeking reassurance without needing words. Maya's lips parted slightly as she whispered softly, "Steady, Hannah, just stay with me." The words carrying the weight of years of careful planning, silent vigilance, and unwavering care. The lamp's warm glow highlighted the sketches on the desk, each line a chronicle of memories, a tapestry of moments of joy, learning, and protection, their vibrancy enhanced by the soft golden light that spilled across the polished hardwood floors. Shadows danced gently across the walls, elongating and folding in subtle waves, creating a cocoon space where time seemed suspended, where the world outside the apartment faded into the background, leaving only the quiet intimacy of the room. Maya adjusted Hannah on the cushioned chair, positioning her with care to ensure comfort while maintaining readiness, her own posture deliberate and poised, a testament to years of experience navigating tension and anticipation. Outside, the city hummed softly, the distant sounds of traffic and faint voices drifting through the window, grounding the moment in reality, even as the room remained a sanctuary untouched by the bustling world beyond. Maya's eyes lingered on Hannah, noting the furrow of concentration, the slight tilt of the head, the deliberate strokes of the pencil, and she felt a quiet swell of pride and protective resolve. Every gesture, every mark on the paper, reflected resilience, trust, and the bond that had grown between them over years of shared vigilance. Her fingers lingered gently on Hannah's curls, brushing them back from her forehead, conveying reassurance, warmth, and a deep, unspoken connection that had nurtured their lives in secret. The air was charged with subtle anticipation, each passing second stretching the quiet stillness into a fragile balance, where patience met preparation, and every element of the room, the sketches, the lamp, the cushions, the polished wood, became a stabilizing anchor as Maya and Hannah awaited the convergence of past dedication with the present recognition. She guided Hannah's small hand back to the pencil, a gesture both encouraging and symbolic, a ritual of grounding and continuity that had carried them through years of uncertainty, ensuring that the child's focus remained on creation even as the threshold of revelation approached. The shadows shifted as if, acknowledging the weight of the moment, the lamplight shimmering against the surfaces of the desk and scattered papers, casting a gentle radiance that highlighted the dedication captured in every line of the drawings. Maya drew a deliberate breath, filling her lungs with the scent of pencils, paper, and the faint lavender that lingered in the room, centering herself in the tangible while preparing for the intangible recognition that was about to unfold. Hannah's gaze lifted, meeting Maya's with quiet assurance, and in that glance passed the culmination of years of trust, patience, and shared courage. The room seemed suspended in anticipation. Every color on the sketches, every subtle sound, every measured movement imbued with significance, poised on the edge of understanding, revelation, and the first tender acknowledgement from the man whose presence had shaped the child's life from afar. Maya felt the weight of 9 years settle into a quiet, resolute patience. The warmth of Hannah pressed against her side, the soft glow of the lamp illuminating their shared space, the sketches bearing silent witness to the devotion, protection, and unwavering care that had defined their secret world, ready at last for the moment of connection that had been long awaited. The stillness of the room seemed to stretch, each second drawn out as if time itself were holding its breath, the warm lamplight illuminating the scattered sketches and the gentle movements of Hannah, whose small fingers traced the colored lines with focused care. Maya felt the quiet weight of anticipation settle over her shoulders, a culmination of 9 years of devotion, careful planning, and unwavering protection, and she adjusted Hannah slightly on the cushioned chair, ensuring the child remained steady while maintaining a protective presence. The polished hardwood floors reflected the soft glow, the shadows stretching along the walls in a gentle dance, creating a cocoon of light and warmth that contrasted with the tension poised on the edge of revelation. Maya's lips parted in a barely audible whisper. "Almost there, Hannah. Just a little more patience." The words carrying both reassurance and the gravity of preparation, a bridge between the quiet past and the approaching recognition. Outside, the faint hum of the city drifted through the half-open window, a distant reminder of the bustling world beyond, unaware of the delicate drama unfolding in this small, carefully protected space. Maya's eyes swept across the room, noting the details that had been painstakingly arranged to create a sanctuary. Blankets neatly folded, books aligned, pencils and papers meticulously positioned, and the sketches themselves a vivid testament to years of care, attention, and the nurturing of life hidden from the world. Hannah's gaze lifted briefly to meet Maya's, and in that silent exchange passed an unspoken communication of trust, courage, and shared history that had been forged over countless quiet days and nights of vigilance. Maya's fingers lingered on the child's dark curls, brushing them back gently, conveying warmth, protection, and the deep, unspoken bond that had guided their lives through years of careful concealment. The air in the room felt charged, each breath deliberate, each heartbeat echoing in the stillness as the threshold of revelation approached. The convergence of hidden devotion and the presence of Junho Kim poised to create a moment of recognition and connection. Maya guided Hannah's hand back to the pencil, a subtle, grounding gesture that reinforced continuity, focus, and the quiet strength that had carried them both through the uncertainty of the past years. The lamplight shimmered over the desk, highlighting the textures, colors, and intricate details of the sketches, each one a visual chronicle of growth, memory, and the nurturing care that had shaped Hannah's life. The room, filled with warmth, quiet, and anticipation, seemed to hold itself in suspended attention. Every element, light, shadow, texture, scent, and the bond between them, converging in preparation for the first tender acknowledgement. Maya drew a slow, measured breath, grounding herself in the tangible elements of the space. The smooth surface of the desk, the weight of Hannah pressed against her side, the gentle glow of the lamp, and the faint aroma of pencils and paper, as she waited for the moment when years of devotion, protection, and unspoken love would finally meet the gaze of the man whose eyes had silently mirrored the child's from afar. Hannah's small hand tightened briefly around Maya's, a final affirmation of trust and courage, and Maya held it, feeling the culmination of years of patient guidance, quiet sacrifice, and unwavering care, knowing that in the fragile stillness of the room, the quiet bond, the protective devotion, and the carefully nurtured life were ready to be acknowledged, recognized, and embraced for the first time in full, transforming the hidden world they had lived within into a space of understanding, connection, and the quiet triumph of love and trust.